ahead, Coach.
All righty. Little kind of shift in kind of our schedule, our plan with school starting today. So we're kind of out of training camp mode into our normal routine of kind of what a daily regiment would look like and a weekly regiment would look like Monday through Saturday. So we started that today, and I thought the guys did have really good energy, but now we're adding classes into it, tutors and whatnot. So, we're fortunate this year the way school starts, we kind of get this week for our mock game on Saturday, so they really can get a feel and a sense for what this week is about, excuse me, leading into next week when we actually have our first ball game. So thought camp went well. Thought, like I said, it was competitive. It was tough. It was competitive on both sides of the ball against one another and on teams, but it was also competitive position battles, which are not over. A lot of which we continue to go at it. But all in all, it was good. Clearly, last Friday made the decision to start Quinn as our quarterback. Excited about that. I think Quinn provides the ability to make all the throws in our system. I think he's got playmaking ability. He's got natural passing ability. I will say it was a tough decision. Hudson is a very good player. He's got great leadership skills. He's got the utmost respect of our coaching staff and of his teammates. There's a reason he's on our leadership committee because of all those things. And I've said all along, there's probably going to come a point in this season, and whether it's one play, one drive, one game, 2 games, I don't know, we're going to need Hudson Card to win a championship. And so I'm excited for Quinn. I'm excited for our team. But I also know, and we are very fortunate to have Hudson be our backup and be in the situation that he's in with the maturity and leadership that he has. So looking forward to this week. Like I said, getting acclimated to school being in session and maximizing this week and this opportunity and do our best not to look ahead to next week and focus on the task at hand.
So how was Quinn better than Hudson?
Quinn can make all the throws. I feel very comfortable about that. I feel comfortable about his playmaking ability. I feel like his growth in the system has been one where we can really kind of see where it's going to head under him, and I'm excited about it.
Coach, when you had such a close battle the way you did, how long of a leash do you need to give a young quarterback like Quinn to let him grow and develop?
Well, I think naturally, there's we're going to have some growing pains. We're not only are we relatively young at quarterback, we're a relatively young team, and so we've got to do a really good job as a staff of trying to put our players in position to learn from the tough situations, and we try to do that in practice. We try to do that in scrimmages. We'll spot the ball on our own 1-yard line, and how are you going to play in your own end zone? We're going to put them in situations where it's a potential 4-down territory, where it's 3rd down, play yourself into 4th down, and I don't expect him to get it exactly right the first time, but as many of those situations as I can put him in and our team in, hopefully the better we respond in game when they present themselves. And so, but I'm a realist. We're going to have some growing pains, but that's okay. I still think we're a pretty good football team, and I think we've got some really key veterans at key spots that can help alleviate some of that.
Steve, after Vince left, the history of quarterback here, there have been really no Iron Man, with the exception of maybe Sam. Have you gotten that point across to Hudson that when quarterbacks get hurt in college football and he's got to be at the ready?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's it goes without saying, but sometimes when you're put in that position and you're in a really contested battle, and the other guy gets named the starter, you can lose sight of potential opportunities and things that are in front of you. And we did make that point to Hudson and made that very clear. Hudson's job is to compete still every day and to either make Quinn better or pass him. And I expect nothing less of Hudson to do that. But the reality of it is, playing quarterback in this day and age, it's hard to go through an entire season unscathed. And like I said, whether it's one play, one drive, one game, 2 games, whatever that looks like, you've got to be prepared, because the worst thing that can happen to you is your number get called and you're not prepared, and that's one of the worst feelings. And so, but like I said, with Hudson, who he is as a person, what he's made up of, I expect nothing less for him to be prepared if his number gets called.
Steve, you talked a lot about you watch their demeanor, and how they carry themselves through camp. what did you see Saturday? Did you see any change? And did you see any change from any of the guys that, hey, now they know who's the guy, and let's
Yeah,
let's go.
I mean, probably hard one day in just to dramatically have this change in demeanor and body posture and things of that nature. You know, I think Quinn over time, his confidence will continue to grow. I think naturally for Hud, there's a bit of you know, you're a little dejected, you know, and that, as a competitor, you know, that's, you know, I expected some of that. But as we start to work ourselves back into it, I thought both of them were good today. I will say I thought that our players, naturally, you know, they want to know. You know, they want to know who's going to be that guy. You know, I've said this all along that, you know, the quarterback's the most important position in sports, not because of arm talent or curl routes or things that how fast you can run, but I think you know, part of it is, you know, do you give the rest of your team, coaching staff, people a sense of belief? And I think Quinn naturally has that ability, and I think that's only going to continue to grow the more comfortable that he gets.
How do you cultivate a quarterback room that supports each other, and obviously going through competition as well, but when Hudson, you know, he's been through this, he went through this last year, how does he respond knowing, you know, I'm still a part of this and I need to help Quinn get better?
Well, I think the point of it is we're a team first. You know, it's the whole we not me mentality, right? And I've said, you know, this room has been really good going back to January. I think that they've worked well with one another, but yet they focused on themselves. And I think that's one of the keys is they're all at different stages. They've all got different things that we're trying to get them to improve upon and get better at. And they need to focus on what they need to do to get better and not worry about what the guys next to them are doing. On the same token, when we're coaching one of them, we're coaching all of them because you never know when that scenario could come up for you. And in the end, I think there's a real sense of appreciation for what the other guys in that room are going through too. It's not easy, you know. We don't pretend to run a simple offense. You know, we put a lot on our quarterback. We ask a lot of him. We demand a variety of throws and pre-snap movement and motion and adjustments by the defense and recognition of those things. And so I think there is a sense of appreciation for when the other guy is playing well and getting it right, or if you can lend a helping hand to maybe alleviate some of the pressure off of him. I think these guys do that. And that's when you've got a really special room and a special place, and I think we're in a good spot there.
Steve, last year you said that you anticipated playing both quarterbacks in the opener last year. Do you anticipate that?
I don't, you know, you never know how games go, you know, but Quinn's going to be our starter. He's going to go in there and play, and if need be, Hudson will be ready to go.
Coach, have you ever given a player as young as Quinn the keys to the kingdom, such a young guy?
I don't like that phrase, but then you'll write it. Coach Sark said he'd give him keys. No, I mean, you know, through it all, you know, as you go through it, I think Quinn has some natural maturity to him. Again, he's a guy who really should be a true freshman in college, but yet got some great experience of going to Ohio State and being there for 4 months or whatever that was last fall, and got to be part of some great environments, got to be part of a really good staff and game planning and why they did what they did, and a team that had a heck of a year and was a Rose Bowl champion and all the things that they did. So I think he was exposed to a lot. I don't feel like he's a true freshman because of the exposure he got last year. But clearly he was new to our offense, new to our team. And I've said this all along about Quinn. I thought he came in with a really kind of open mind. I thought he's been a very good teammate, and I thought he's been really coachable. And my expectation is he'll continue that and then only get better in those areas.
Quinn, do you foresee a certain personnel grouping, at least with the skill guys, that may be more conducive to him than Card or anything along?
No, we're going to run our stuff. Like I said, you know, we're fortunate to have a pretty balanced group. We've got good receivers, we've got good tight ends, we've got good running backs. We can interject those guys with different groups, multiple wide receivers, multiple tight ends, multiple backs, whatever fits that game plan. But we're very comfortable with him operating our stuff.
Hinted that you had a timeline that you wanted to kind of follow. Did you follow that timeline, or was there something special about Friday?
No, that wasn't necessarily special. I was hopeful before our second scrimmage that we would have a guy that I would feel comfortable enough before I put my head down at night that that's what I wanted to do. And then when I woke up in the morning, I still felt the same way. And that's kind of how Thursday night, Friday morning went for me. I felt like it was pretty consensus across the board from our staff, especially on the offensive staff, of this was the direction we were going to go in, and you go for it. These are always tough. They're always difficult, especially when you got really two talented people, different players, but talented people. But I felt very comfortable with the timing of it. Quinn was able to get a lot of the reps with the ones on Saturday in the scrimmage, and now he's got 2 weeks to get himself prepared to play his first ball game.
Is accuracy a concern at all with Quinn?
I would say it's a strength. Yeah, I feel really good about it. He can make a variety of throws. He can make off-platform throws, different arm angles. He has the ability to push the ball down the field. He's got a quick release, naturally quick release when he needs it in the short to intermediate game. So, no, I don't think that's a concern.
How did yours play in the scrimmage Saturday, and can you give us an injury update?
Yeah, Saturday I thought he played well. Had a high completion percentage, threw some touchdowns. We had a couple interceptions Saturday, one of which was really a protection kind of breakdown that forced a bit of an errant throw. And another one was just not a great matchup on third down, and the defense made a good play on the ball. So that stuff we got to work through as an offense more so than just the quarterback. Injury-wise, pretty status quo from what was going into the scrimmage. The only guy that got a little nicked up was Kelvin Banks. Nothing serious. He should be probably back practicing tomorrow, but feel good about Roshan getting back here going this week, Jade Barron getting back going this week. I'm trying to think. Cole Hudson is already back practicing this week. So a lot of the guys we felt would be back are back. Troy's back practicing this week. So a lot of the guys we thought would be back have worked themselves back into practice and feel good about that. So, we practice hard. I get that, but we also want to make sure we're fresh and healthy going into that first ball game.
Coach,
Time for two last ones?
Are there any position battles that are still ongoing that still need to kind of work its way out? And is there any path for Jai Hall to come back before the season?
So position battle-wise, they're always ongoing. I hate just to say that, hey, this guy's a starter and now you're not. The quarterback is different. There's one ball, there's one guy that can do it. But when you start looking at linemen, O&D linemen, when you start looking at the linebacker position, safeties, things of that nature, I really like to push those guys. The receiver spot, so that, if there's an opportunity to get in a certain personnel package on defense or offense, I love for them to try to earn their way to get to do that stuff. Ajay's doing all the necessary things right now. I'm pleased, and I'm going to kind of leave that update right there.
Vegetarian Sanders, how's he doing?
I love JT Sanders. Probably one of, if arguably the most improved player on our team from a year ago this time. He's a big physical guy. I'm probably going to upset Xavier and Jay Witt and Bijan, but he's probably got the best hands on our team. He's got very strong hands, can make contested catches. He's a guy we're definitely very excited about.
So I don't know if biggest concern is the right phrase, but where do you want to see Quinn improve the most? What does he need to, where are the areas you really need to?
Well, I think it's on him and it's on us, right, is just comfort level. The less thinking you do, and I use thinking because when you have to try to decipher the call and what I'm doing, and the more feel and reacting of plays, the better off you are at quarterback. And so we have to do a really good job as a staff getting through this week of really figuring out the things that he's very comfortable with and the things that he's good at. And then our job, game week and going into that first game, is to call the things that he's comfortable with and that he's good at. And then there's going to be a whole nother box of things that we know he will become good at, that we will keep working on, but maybe he's just not quite ready for that yet. And those are the things we work on in individual and on the side and whatnot. So I think the biggest challenge is how far can he take his comfort level over the next 5 days, and then our recognition to make sure that we're doing things offensively that he's very comfortable with.